Epic sages, your home for adventure. Crafting worlds where your story's the center. Gear and tools for the brave and the bold. Your journey begins as the tale unfolds.
Step inside where the legends begin. Maps, dice, and stories, the magic within. Adventure in mind, we're here by your side. At Epic Sages, where heroes collide. Every campaign, every turn, every fight, we give you the tools, you shape the night. Epic Sages is where you find satisfaction, with adventure in mind and your own passion. We control the board, you control the action. Epic Sages, where legends find traction. From online to in-store, we've got what you seek. Gear for your quest, world so unique. Your heroes rise, we light the way. Epic Sages, your guide through the fray. No matter the path, no matter the game, your story is yours, we fuel the flame. Epic Sages is where you find satisfaction, with adventure in mind and your own passion. We control the board, you control the action. Epic Sages, where legends find traction. From your first roll to battles well fought, we give you the gear for the stories you sought. At Epic Sages, the tools are designed with passion and care and adventure in mind. Your world, your rules, your epic tale. With Epic Sages, you will never fail. Epic Sages is where you find satisfaction, with adventure in mind and your own passion. We control the board, you control the action. Epic Sages, where legends find traction. We light the way, you shape the venture. Epic Sages, your home for adventure. From online to in-store, we've got what you seek. Gear for your quest, world so unique. Your heroes rise, we light the way. Epic Sages, your guide through the fray. No matter the path, no matter the game, your story is yours, we fuel the flame. Epic Sages is where you find satisfaction, with adventure in mind and your own passion. We control the board, you control the action. Epic Sages, where legends find traction. We light the way, you shape the venture. Epic Sages, your home for adventure.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's show. For people in the chat already chatting, you're right, it is a banger. It's always a banger. Thanks for joining us today for season 5, episode 16, Scorched Earth. When to call it off? When's it all over? When's it time to call it up? Anyway, before we get into when to scrap it all, that is the subline. Sorry, I'm over here goofing it up. Anyway, hello. Let's get into it off the bat from the start, all that fun stuff. We have two fantastic star guests with us tonight, and we're just going to introduce them. We're going to start with Lima. Lima, could you please tell the wonderful people who you are, what you do, all your fun stuff, where to find you, all that?
Hi, my name is Lima Maclean. I'm really happy to be here with you. In a nutshell, I'm a real estate investor. I buy and sell properties all over. I have a real estate investing mentorship. I teach others how to buy real estate with no money, no credit, no mortgage. I've been doing that for years and I love it. I have students from all over the globe learning these strategies and applying these strategies. I also have a speakers platform. So if anyone wants to get onto different stages, whether it's virtually, in person, domestically, or internationally, I help you to get onto stages so that you can gain that visibility and that authority in your business. So that's what I do in a nutshell. Thank you.
Perfect. Where's a good website to find you?
Really, to be honest, Facebook. If you go to Facebook, and then that'll be great. And just DM me if you have any questions.
Fantastic. If you guys saw her intro post that I posted a couple hours ago, I will make sure that all of her fun links are attached to that in one of the comments. Next up, Robert.
Hey everybody, it's Robert Slayton. I wear a couple different hats. Number one, I deal in the insurance space. doing with health insurance and benefits for both employers and also individuals. I've written 4 books. This is the one that probably most people would be interested in. It's a consumer guide, a reference guide. It explains what is health insurance, how to choose it, and also all the crap that goes on with it. How to, if you have a claim denial, what are the 4 questions you ask your doctor if they do if they prescribe something. And my passion project deals with mental health and men's mental health. I've been in business this particular business 22 years. I've started and run 6 other businesses. And yeah, this is an interesting topic because um, you know sometimes you want to scorch the earth and sometimes you want to just go all in and see where you go. So it'll be fun, be very fun. Where to find me? I have a couple websites. I have Robert Slayton, my first and last name scrunched That's my author website. And if you want to know more about my passion project and other things, go to Robert C. Slayton. There's a C in the middle .com, and that kind of explains that. And in the post, there'll be my link tree. So everything you ever wanted to know about Robert will be in that link tree. So just yeah, if you want to go down that rabbit hole for some unknown reason, you can't sleep at night, feel free to look at the link.
And we're not counting Chiefs, we're counting Roberts. Uh,
Or read one of my books. Have it on the side. That'll put you right to sleep, I'll tell you. Books about insurance are just the most exciting thing in the world.
hey, you know what? But they're important. So we're gonna get into it today, and start with my favorite question. I like to ask the guests to start it off. When I say today's title, so Scorched Earth, when to scrap it all, what is the first thing that pops into your head when that pops up? What is the image that blazes into your mind? We're gonna start with Lima again.
Um, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, so when I say the title of today's episode, so Scorched Earth, when to scrap it all, what's the first thing that pops into your head? What do those words bring about for you?
The scorched earth. When to start? It just means when everything falls apart. Like that's what I'm seeing.
Okay, all right, gotcha. What about you, Robert? What's
Yeah.
your visualization on that one?
My visualization is a military action where you're withdrawing and you destroy everything in your path. And frankly, when it comes to business or personal life, it's like F it. Just just get rid of everything and go somewhere with no money, no nothing, and just start over again.
Okay,
Because I'll tell you, sometimes I feel like that, right? Forget it. I just want to start over. Take everything. I just want to get rid of all the stress. So burn it all.
burn it all. All right, younger. It's been a while since you've joined us on one of these. What's your thought? What's the first thing that pops in your head?
The first thing that pops in my head is Halo 3. The Covenant come to Earth, and they're like, there's a bunch of nasty demon flood things running around here, this terrible disease. They're going to turn everybody into zombies. We ain't having none of that. Nah, just glass that whole continent. We don't need none of that. We don't need the disease to spread. We're going to wipe it where it stands. Whether or not we can use whatever is left there or not, whatever we have isn't working and it needs to just go and be gone forever. Existence delete.
That's a great example of it used in media. We'll come back to that one later. Jared, what about you?
So 3 things actually pop into my brain when you bring up the term Scorched Earth. The first are 2 cultural references, first being music, and that's Black Sabbath's War Pigs. The second thing that pops into my brain is a quote from Aliens, nuke the site from orbit, it's the only way to be sure. And then the last thing, because it was a game I grew up with, an old DOS computer game where it was a turn-based strategy game with tanks called Scorched Earth.
Nice. Okay. Those are all fantastic references. In the TTRPG setting, the Scorched Earth is the failed campaign, right? Is the you run into an apocalyptic setting afterwards after Scorched Earth generally. Players aren't always there to experience it, but it's always a fun narrative when they do. And again, I'll get back to that later. But we're we're gonna jump over Robert. Robert, you seem very excited about telling us some of these stories where you said, "F it, let's go Scorched Earth." Can you give us an IRL example of that?
Oh, well, I'm in the insurance world. I deal with health insurance. So let me give you just a simple example. There was something called the Affordable Care Act, right?
Heard about it for
It
sure, for
got
sure.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody somewhere thereabouts that it passed and then it got supported. And at that point in time, the insurance companies are saying, you know what, we love you, keep doing what you're doing, but we're not going to pay you anymore. Literally. So imagine you're making your living, you're making a life off of doing this stuff, and the insurance company says, oh, it's okay, you can continue to do that. We're just not going to pay you anymore. And so at that point in time, it's like, really? Effing really? I'm done. I'm just so done. Or there have been times in business, business can go up and down. If you're working in business and your net profit is negative, even though you're working 60, 80 hours a week, that's another time. It's like, you know what? If I'm making all this money, but it's being negative, what's the purpose of working? If I throw it all up, right? Just say, forget it, where I don't have all those expenses and everything, well, I'm at least net even, right? So that happens too. So
Okay.
and so yeah, those are I feel that not fairly often, but every once in a while it's like, oh my God, especially fourth quarter, it's insane in our industry. So, but you get through it. It's all about grit, right? Getting through it. And Lima's nodding her head. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I agree with you, especially that it's all about grit. Like that's what it is. Like if you don't have that, then you might as well forget it. You're not gonna achieve anything.
Feel that. Lima, still on your question. Though, I'm gonna pose the same question. In your line of work, when you're doing your things, do you have any great examples of any time where you've just been like, "F it, we're burning it all down. We're moving on to something else."
Yeah, definitely. I've had those moments. And sometimes I burned it down, and then sometimes I didn't. So it just depended on like the particular moment. But yeah, I've definitely had those moments. For one example, I was renting out a bunch of properties to tenants, and I was a landlord, and I just got so sick and tired of being a landlord. So I said something has to change. I can't deal with the phone calls at night. I can't deal with someone that's about to get evicted, so they try to burn the house down. Like I'm getting a call in the middle of the night saying, "Hey, is this your house?" "Oh yeah, it's on fire," from the fire department. So I said, I'm tired of the landlord tenant stuff. So I said I'm gonna go into the short-term, mid-term rental, and that's when I started posting my properties more on Airbnb, Booking.com, those types of things. So I don't have to really deal with like the landlord tenant issues like I used to. So that's when I burned it all down, the landlord tenant stuff.
I mean,
Yeah, for
with
sure.
with that example, that's literal scorched earth to get you motivated and moving forward.
Exactly. It's literal. The fire department called me in the middle of the night and said, "Are you Lima Maclean?" I'm like, "Yes." "Is this is such and such your address?" I'm like, "Yes." And they said, "The house is on fire. Get here now." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
It's a rough way to wake
So
up.
yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. No. Thank you. I'll avoid that if
There
possible.
was an
Yeah. Right. Ensure
oh,
that.
man.
Yeah. That's it. I swear I didn't burn it down for insurance and money. It was the tenant. Blame them. Um. Younger. Jumping over to you. Um. What about you? What any personal experiences that you can think of scorched earth, uh, in your life?
Things that I could talk about. I'll
Yes,
keep it to
the
D&D.
ones you're allowed to talk about.
It would definitely be like where it's like, oh, you have a plan for like what you're gonna do with the campaign, where it's gonna go, and then just being like the players have completely derailed that, and it's like, okay, there's no going back. the story I had designed was for the left, and they decided to go to the right. Okay, I will accommodate that. Close the old book, open a new one. Move on.
Is it bad that my brain popped in when you said that's like everybody clap your hands?
Yes, it is bad. Focus. But I pose the same question to you, Jared. You're a man of many ventures.
So you want professional examples, personal examples, or gaming examples, or all three?
Your choice, friend.
The juiciest one.
The juiciest one. That's a solid descriptor.
What's the definition of juicy?
Depends on where you're at in the world.
Most gossipy. Most
Gossipy.
that we can take with
Gossipy
us.
Scorched Earth.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you what Jared said. Guess what happened? That's what I
geez.
want. I
So
want a
during
good story.
So during
No
a time
pressure.
there was a time in my life where I was, I've opted to this. I was a bit more, and I'm just gonna be blunt with it. I was a bit more of a jackass online. I'd get into arguments and make comments and all this other things, and I realized, oh wait, maybe I'm part of the problem, and had that waking up. But anyway, I used to not only be a part of, but was part of the what do you call it? Staff, support volunteer, people who made decisions of a LARPing organization. And if you think the gossip, backbiting, and just mean-spirited nature of like a church is bad, let me tell you, nerds get vindictive. People start all kinds of rumors. It's like at one point in my life, like I left the organization because they just kept banning my friends for stupid reasons. I mean, they'd always have a justification, but those of us who were just in it were like, no, that's not at all what happened. So yeah, for a while we tried to kind of do our own thing and leave it all behind. Then after a while, when that didn't work, I was just like, I'm done. So I haven't really LARPed in over a decade. Thankfully, the organization I did leave is doing a lot better. There's new people in charge, and they've made it a much less toxic environment. So
For now, give him a couple years.
Just
But-
join again, Jared. See what happens.
We see him all the time.
It's Friday. I'm gonna be this way. I'm sorry.
hey,
No, you're good.
This is a safe space for sass. Okay.
Right? Exactly. We appreciate it. So going to a TTRPG example, one that we can actually look to online for our various shows and things, is our Starfinder campaign that you can watch on our YouTube channel. That is an example of Scorched Earth. We gave it up on season 2 because last minute after the final episode of season 1, all of our players' schedules changed entirely. No hate to the players, love all of them. But the trying to get the group back together to where we could all play at the same time again was nearly impossible, and to accommodate streaming and all the other fun stuff that we have to do for the show itself. We killed season 2 at that point, right? Because it was just like the people that were involved in it couldn't help, and that's a pretty realistic reason to scorch your thing, right? When you're dealing with a group of people, especially in a TTRPG standpoint, it is the most common destroyer of plans is other people's schedules. Which is kind of leads into my next topic. What is your least memorable, like when was it out of your control for something that had to go Scorched Earth? When was something that like you were doing something and it immediately just was like, I can't do anything about this, so I just have to let it go? I'm gonna give you guys a couple of seconds to think here. We're gonna start with Younger this time, actually. He didn't look ready, so we're gonna get him.
The Humvee is on fire. The Humvee is on fire. It is not getting fixed. It has exploded. At this point, it's just grab the fire extinguisher and literally put the flames out, and let the proper authorities know, and go and file a bunch of paperwork, and make sure that nobody died. Yeah, that was a legit example.
I appreciate that, because you're not the only person that has happened to in this chat room. Never like, drop a wrench on a battery terminal. Well, never leave a private alone with a wrench.
I can't. but I have to file the paperwork because one of my soldiers was there, you know. And then being told like, oh, stand in front of so and so. Why did this happen? Well, you see, sir, I wasn't there. But from what I understand, they tried to, take a particular cable and jump a Humvee that had a frozen battery. They just
Switch the cable properties around and cut everything on fire, as one does. Uh, Jumping over to Robert. Robert, what about you? Where was one of those times where you just had to let something go because it was just out of your control? I know your first example kind of hit that, but was there another one that was a little more direct or personal?
Let me think about that. Out of my control. To think about that, there have been certain relationships that got out of control, right? Where
Okay.
they just you you can't talk to them, you can't reason them. They're this one way, and it's like, you know what? For my own mental health, I got to opt out. I got to opt out. I'm done. I'm done. I was actually chatting with a friend tonight, and she did that with her siblings. She had arranged a reunion, and the oldest, just started berating her in front of everybody because he didn't do it, right? She's the one who put it together, and she's 7 out of 10 kids, mind you, right? So she's like down on the totem pole, and then all of the siblings stood by him and not her, even though she just tried to do the right thing. And it's like, that's scorched earth. It's like she hasn't talked to him in 2 years. And, if they reach back out, she doesn't hold him any ill will, but it's like, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't need that in my life. And frankly, when you get a toxic person in your life, you gotta let them go. Let them go.
Nice. Yeah, we'll talk about the boundary things later because that's a big part of the Scorched Earth stuff and the cause for a lot of it. Jared, what about you?
Well, it's a hard one to think about when it's been out of my control. Plenty of things have been out of my control. I don't know if they quite gotten to Scorched Earth level. A few of my old cars come to mind.
See?
Okay, no, I have an example. Right after my wife got her associate's degree when we were living in Nevada, after that, we were looking at our prospects and realized the financial state that Nevada was back in 2013. There was nothing. There was nothing. There was nowhere she could work. There was nowhere I could work. There was just where we were at. There was nothing. So that was when we moved to Alaska, because there were options there. Yeah, it's very far away, but yeah. So that's the best thing of like, we literally can't stay. And another top of it was our roommate at the time was a U.S. Navy, and he was being deployed, and the lease was on him and his housing allowance. So we literally couldn't stay.
That would be a reason for Scorched Earth. Like, just gotta go, clean the house, call it good. Sometimes you scorch the earth with chemicals, right?
We tried to have a garage sale, and we didn't even get half the stuff sold, and we're just like, yeah, we're leaving it here. So if you can't get rid of it, or if you don't want to run it to the dump, just let the landlord deal with it.
Yeah, landlord, Lima. Just remember that, landlord.
Right. I'm gonna say.
Hey, look at it this way. I left our landlord a bunch of free stuff.
Sure. Yeah, they're gonna make a profit on that free stuff versus paying.
Exactly. That's true. That is true. I can't tell you how so many times it happened to me.
So, speaking of things that happened to you, what about you? Has there ever been a personal experience where you've had to, besides the literal fire that we talked about in our first example, do you think there's another experience that you can think of where you've kind of just had to take the I'm getting rid of everything just because I don't really have any other choice here?
Yeah, just like Jared said, yeah, that happened to me big time in a major way. When the market crashed in 2007, 2008, like I literally had everything ripped from under my feet, my properties, like everything, I with no warning whatsoever. And I was attacked with different lawsuits and all kinds of stuff. So definitely that was like a definite situation that I could not control, like I had no control, and I literally had to relinquish everything and start all over again. So yeah, that was literally something that happened. But I'm happy I did because, starting over, I learned so much more from that. We always get so much more when we go through something. It's, if we choose to learn from it. And it took me down another path of, learning a whole lot of other, strategies and different things that I could incorporate in my business. So now, like, if something like that it was to ever happen again, it won't have that same effect on me. So it was horrible, but I can't say that it was all bad. It was good too, in a little bit, in a way.
It's something that
You
we
learn a lot.
brought up in a previous episode that kind of covered the same topics. Is sometimes scorched earth is necessary because you need things to grow, right? California has the wonderful problem of when they don't clean up their forest, everything catches on fire, and the forest cleans itself up to the desolation of all the people that live near the forest. You know,
Hmm.
so sometimes it's necessary to make those burns, right? Sometimes it's necessary to draw those boundaries, right? Sometimes it's better to start the fire and make sure the areas that you want cleared are cleared instead of having it catch everything along the way. So in that spirit, we're gonna start with Lima here. Is there anything that you draw your line when you see something happening where stuff is building up or piling that you just say, all right, that's it. I'm cutting my losses and moving forward. Is there anything that you do when you with your real estate especially? Is there anything that you just see and are like, okay, this is where this is heading. I'm cleaning it up before it becomes a real problem.
Pretty much just, because of, maturing over the years, I wasn't always this way, but maturing over the years, like this organization, like where it's just like total chaos with a deal or something, like that, I have to cut the ties, or if I'm dealing with a group of people, just like Robert was talking about, if there's a bad apple in the bunch, like you have to go. I'm not, I'm not gonna sit around and wait until everything else begins to spoil because of the one bad apple. Like right now, literally, I can talk about that. I'm actually I have a co-author book with 20 authors that I'm hosting right now, and this is volume 2 of that book, and it's an international best-selling book. It's on Amazon right now. Volume 1, volume 2 is launching in September, but it's called Rebirth, and I have authors in there telling their stories of transformation, things they've gone through in life and what they've learned and what they're doing now because of it. And so I literally had to, after me vetting, everyone, I still had to let a couple of people go because it wasn't really working well with the group. And it was a decision I made that no one else even knew about. I just did it on my own because sometimes we have to do that as leaders. We have to make decisions without, you know, asking for any advice. But I noticed that what was happening. And so then I had to say, well, you can't be a part of the project. So yeah, it was hard, but I had to do it. So
It's always hard to help tell people that
yeah.
want to contribute. No, you're
Hmm.
not the right fit. I feel that wholeheartedly.
Hmm.
So kind of jumping over to Robert here. Same question to you. Is there anything that you can see on the regular that all right, here's I see this pattern, this is what's gonna happen, I need to cut it off. Is there any cutoff lines that you kind of draw on the regular?
Yeah, there always are. And I fired clients before. Well, why do I fire them? Number one, they don't listen to me. Wait, so you're paying me money to give you consulting and advice, right? And I'm pretty good at this. I've written 4 books. I think I might know a little bit of what I'm doing. So they don't listen. They don't implement I suggest. They stick with what they have and then they complain about it. It's like, you know what, I'm sorry. You're only gonna leave anyway because you're not paying attention. You're just gonna be wooed away by somebody else. And I'm done. And there have been times when there was one guy, he just wouldn't pay his bill, right? So we put in a new policy. I said, hey, if you want us to be your broker on this, you're gonna pay us monthly for the pain and suffering that you're giving us. And so we charged him. We billed him every single month extra upon on top of everything else because we we don't want to deal with this stuff. just otherwise we just move them to a different broker. And the best way to move them to a different broker says, you know what? I don't think we're the best clients for you. Tell you what, go over to this, my competition, right? You know, go talk to them. I think they're best for you. Don't tell them I told you to go over there. But I think they'll work better for you, right? Because now they're their problem, not my problem. They'll suck up their resources, not my resources. Not
Man,
that I've ever done that before.
man, I gotta remember that for later. That's a great tactic. Um,
Sorry, what popped into my brain was Seinfeld. I wonder if anyone's ever muttered their name like Newman. It's like Robert.
Multiple times, yes.
That's too funny. Jared, what about you? Again, you have a plethora of experience of when is the right time to get away from things. Is there anything that's like a clear hard line for you? And I'm gonna specify it down just a little bit. Specifically at a TTRPG table, when you are dealing with players themselves, not stories, but players. And I'm gonna give Younger the stories bit.
Okay. Well, and this one's kind of fairly universal. I mean, a lot of it. I think the original comment was made for personal relationships, but realistically, it just applies to anything. It's a great. I don't remember who originally said it, but it says the best apology is changed behavior. If someone keeps saying they're sorry and then just keeps repeating the same behavior over and over again, how many strikes do you give them before you're done? How much damage do they have to do before it's like, okay, no, we're done here. So, but then like when you're dealing with that, this is something I wanted to bring up was there's kind of two ideologies, schools of thought, concepts, whatever you want to call them, that are kind of at war with each other when you're trying to determine something like that. On the one hand, you have what's called the sunk cost fallacy, where it's like, oh, I've already put so much time, I've already put so much into this. So maybe if I just put a little more, maybe put a little more, maybe something will get out of it, and you just get kind of trapped in a hole while it keeps taking more and more and more and more. But then the other concept you're at war with is derived from an old German proverb that I'm sure everyone's heard at least once in their life: "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater." So you're wondering if maybe there's something that could be salvaged from situations like, well, maybe we can get something out of it. Maybe we can get something, anything. And the best example I can think of in our local area is all the people who post their junk cars on Facebook wanting ridiculous amounts of money, going, I know what I got.
Got a hunk of junk worth nothing 99% of the time.
Quit calling me out, Jared.
I was gonna say that was Younger's rental arrangement a long time ago. He'd just find those cars on Facebook and hide in the trunk as necessary. Speaking of Younger,
Much space. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Stupid joke.
Hey, look, we encourage stupid jokes around here. So Younger, question to you, right? When you're doing a story, when you're doing your storytelling bits, right? When do you draw your line? When is the narrative like you're watching the group do their stuff and things, and you say, "All right, we gotta axe storyline A and jump to storyline B," because, like you said, we planned for left and they went right.
So it's like there are some times of where you can implement quote unquote railroading, where it's like, it is inevitable that they will run across whatever, right? But you are probably not going to be going and fighting some creature that is in a completely different terrain than where it is typically found, right? Like
Gotcha.
you are not going to be
No fire
riding
elementals in the ice.
sand where in the elemental plane of air. There's no purple worms just floating around out there. And it's like, okay, well, the circumstance has led us to dictate that, hey, as the DM, I need to be comfortable enough to adjust fire, and come up with a alternate solution to that problem, right? It's like, because if the players had wanted to fight a purple worm, they would have went into the tunnel, that had the giant purple juice on the ground. But they didn't. They decided that they were going to go play with some fairies, right? So I should probably have some fairy-related stuff, because that's what they are looking for.
Okay. Nice. And I mean, kind of on that example, would you suggest to other DMs to just modify their creatures that they're using? Right. You talked about the elemental plane of air and giant worms. Would it be better just to make it a clear purple worm? So it's not technically a purple worm, but it's literally just a flying, semi-transparent creature that lives in the plane of air that has exact same stats as your purple worm. Or would you say completely scrap that idea and try something else?
I mean, there's a reason that it really sucks with 5.5, but there's a reason that CRs exist. So you can find a challenge rating of equivalent value. That might be more adept to your setting. Of course, if it's just like a little bit off, and you want a unique monster, a unique feature, or something about it. Sure, just alter the purple worm stats a little bit here or there, give it a little bit more health, give it an immunity or something, something that makes it unique, different than every other D&D campaign that exists, right? That's perfectly fine and handy and dandy. But if it is Scorched Earth and it's like, nah, man, like just scrap that, grab a new thing, similar challenge rating, maybe even a little bit more difficult because you guys are a bunch of murder hobos.
Yes, as is the case with dealing with murder hobo groups, is you generally have to just throw more things at them, which feeds the beast, unfortunately. Um, Now with that, and kind of drawing our boundaries and things, and being able to be like, all right, this is where things are going. I'm cutting it off before it happens. I'm clearing the forest to grow new soil, and we go into the growing new soil, right? Have you guys had any major positive experiences from having those scorched earth moments? Is there any time where you've been like, all right, it's all gone, but good things happen, right? Lima talked about having learned experiences from and growing from other stuff. Is there any other major things that you guys can think of that are like, hey, this also happened because I said F it ahead of time, and it saved things or was able to sprout new possibilities kind of thing. I'm going to start with Jared on this one.
Oh geez. So positive things that came from having to just burn it all down. Huh. That's an interesting question. Like you said, just kind of rambling on about the previous example I made. I came up to Alaska after we left Nevada because there was just nothing for us. We got a lot more opportunities. Yeah, there's still challenges, but that's just life. But we were afforded a lot more opportunities. My wife was able to go back to school and get her 4-year degree. Technically, it was supposed to be 2 4-year degrees, but the university decided, no, we're going to condense it into 1 degree with a dual major. And it's like, but that's not what I went to school for. But anyway, that's just a minor rambling.
Gotta hold the university.
Other, I okay, this has happened a couple times, and I won't pick out a specific example, but bigger and better things, leaving toxic D&D groups, because there are times where you just you get matched up with people who are either just generally unpleasant people to be around, or the way they play, they purposely like punish anything they don't fit into their little box of like, you're not playing the game right, so I'm going to make the game more difficult for you in particular. And usually out of that, you usually bond with other people who are also dissatisfied with that experience, and you end up making more friends. Actually, I did, now that I've been rambling a bit, I did think of a specific example of Scorched Earth, walk away, and hey, making a new friend. I once got, I'll go ahead and say dragged to a multi-level marketing pitch. And we had to talk another couple that was there out of it as well. Once we heard the spiel, and we're like, no, this isn't good at all. And the people we ended up talking out of it ended up becoming our roommates later and helping us survive where we were currently living because we couldn't afford the rent. So yay, that was something good out of that. Just burn the whole thing. It's like, nope, no pyramid schemes for me, thanks. Hey, look, roommates.
Nice. All right, jumping over to Robert. Robert, what about you?
I've had a lot of those experiences. I had a very challenging time in 2023 where I kind of had my comfort box just torn apart. Everything, I lost a friend, lost a long-term relationship. My daughter had a health issue, and so really screwed with my brain and stuff. And so at that point in time, I realized, you know what? There were a lot of things that weren't serving me, so I got rid of them. I was part of this mastermind group, love the people. We get together every quarter, and and I had to say goodbye to it. it helped me in the past, but it wasn't helping me in the future. So I got rid of it. I carved out space. I said, you know what? No relationships for a year. I need to figure out myself. Because when you do this stuff, it frees up time and it frees up energy to create your new stuff. And so that was the time when I kind of reinvented myself. And I ride motorcycles now, which I love. I dance every Wednesday night, West Coast swing. So if you're ever in Chicago, let me know. I'll take you dancing. And you create your own groups. Yeah, you look so excited about that, don't you?
I love dancing.
And but it's yeah, there's a lot of good. And part of it is when you get rid the thing about Scorched Earth is you're getting rid of something that doesn't serve you ultimately, right? You get rid of it. It frees up space, it frees up time, frees up energy, frees up mental space to allow you to do the good things that you need to do. And so I've reinvented myself multiple times in my life and career, and so that's where I go. So there've been a number of different situations where it's like get rid of it all, clear it out, and just move forward. You don't throw everything out. You throw out the things that aren't serving you.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
did that.
Good. Lima, jumping down to you. What about you? Any scorched earth that led to positive change?
Yeah, definitely. Back to what I was telling you before, when I literally lost everything and had to start all over. Because of everything I learned, I was able to build everything up, double, triple what I had before, and started to, with my children, just for their birthdays, give them properties like performing assets. So they have portfolios already cash flowing, and like right now my youngest is 16, she's a senior, so they all have portfolios that are performing, so they don't have to worry about a place to live. Like everything I learned, I just took it and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to go all in, and so even now, me working with other investors, helping them to build their portfolios, helping them to make their dreams come true. I never thought I would be doing it. I thought I was only working on my dreams and making them come true. But now I'm able to help others, and to help them make their dreams come true too.
That's a powerful form of transformation when you go from the sapling stage to the tree that is spreading seeds. So it's always good to hear. Younger, jumping over to you. What about you there, friendo? Scorched Earth, the positive experience.
Okay, so this is actually TTRPG related. Scorched Earth, beginning town that your characters have gone and formed many emotional bonds with several characters, has unfortunately been destroyed in your absence due to the fact of you did not go there. You decided to go save a princess, right? Instead of, going back to your town because, the princess was important and such. And you go back and you return to the town, you're like, everything's destroyed. But it leads for a perfect build-up for like, okay, revenge plot on whoever did that, or you could have a necromancer show up and bring all of those terrible, loving NPCs back to life, and then you have to go and deal with your character's emotional turmoil for facing all of their dead friends who are now trying to kill them. Great for storytelling.
I need you to stop stealing notes from my campaigns.
Remind me not to be part of your campaigns.
Yeah, we put Younger through some psychological torture over the years. Younger,
I've
you
Roger a number of times that I don't bother making friends with his NPCs anymore because they're just going to die.
So it's a poor choice. It's a poor choice. Don't have weak flesh. Let's see here. With all that, right? We're kind of getting towards the end bit here because I want to do the extra book stuff tonight. So I got one final question for our star guest and our handy dandy co-owners here. Lima, we're gonna start with you. Final question for the night. Is there any time where you've gone scorched earth and come back to regret it later?
Can you say that again, please? Because you cut out a little bit.
Gotcha. Is there any time where you have gone scorched earth and then later regretted it?
um, mm, I can't say that I have, but
Okay.
you know, I can't, because the reason why I say that is because I've decided a long time ago that when I make a decision, I'm going to stick with it. Because sometimes when you have to make decisions, sometimes you have to make them quickly, and you have to go, reason, based on where you are, in that point in life, because we're all at different levels in life. And so wherever I am, in life, I just have to make a decision. So, and I'm fine with it when I make it, because that's where I was, and I'm always growing, and I'm intentional about that. So I don't really have any regrets about decisions that I make usually, because of that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I hope that makes sense,
No, 100%. I get that. That's good to hear, to be honest. Jared, jumping down to you second this time.
Scorched Earth and then regretted it. Well, the clearest example I can think of is over the years I've actually tried. I think this is my current YouTube channel / now Twitch channel is actually my third attempt over my lifetime to create a content channel. First two times, it didn't go anywhere, or something came up in my life and I couldn't keep it up, and just that's 2 whole channels worth of content that are now gone forever. And yeah, there's been a number of times where it's like, oh, I wish I just held out a little longer, or tried this or tried that. But it's like, you know what? All you can do is keep moving forward. So now I'm on my 3rd channel. Well, I guess technically this one would be my 4th, right?
Technically 4, yeah. You're part of us now, though. You don't have to count that in the negatives, though. It's a positive. It's not dead yet, dang it. All right. Robert, what about you?
No regrets.
No regrets.
And
Okay.
I go back to the regrets. Remember from what was that one movie with Jennifer Aniston? They were running
No
drugs.
regrets.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always think about with this. But I agree with Lima. It's one of those things, you make decisions and you move on. And right or wrong, you always learn something from whatever you're doing. And the other thing I firmly believe is that when the crap hits the fan, we have an infinite ability to fix things. We always do, right? You're never gonna. So if you go down here and you go down this pathway, you make your decision, you scorch everything, and it's not turning out right. You know what you do? You pivot, right? From Friends, pivot, and for your older crowd, and that's what you do. You make it better, you make it work. And like you, Lima, think about it. You had 2007, 2008, you had to pivot, you had to redo it, but you learned so much more, and you got in a better niche, and it worked better for you. So yeah, no regrets. Are there things, are there what ifs? Of
Oh,
course there
sure.
are what ifs, but no regrets.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Younger, what about you?
I would have to say that my biggest what if moment. I wouldn't necessarily say regret, but it's definitely one of those things that I repetitiously think back on. Is like, I could have made a buttload of money if I just kept on doing the type of work that I had been doing after I got out of the military within the civilian sector. I have a little bit of a conscience, unfortunately. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it won't make as much money, but I'll do something else, right? And but it's like I still enjoyed some aspects of the work. I just didn't like some of the consequences of it. And so it's just like, well, that time has passed. There was X amount of time that I could have went and jumped back into that thing. Things expire, so on and so forth. And I watched the clock tick by, and then it eventually passed, and it was like, okay, well, now it's no longer a choice. Now it's in the past, and time to move forward.
Stepping forward, always moving forward. I had a quote from something that Robert had said, and I had totally flew out of my mind, which is super sad because it was going to be great. But we'll pretend I said it anyway. But With all that, it seems like for the most part, this group is pretty conscious with that. Scorched Earth is a necessary thing, right? It keeps things clean, keeps things growing, lets you find new directions, allows you to pivot. Uh, a good analogy is you're clearing the forest so you can see the mountain, right? So you can see the objective, the goals that are in the way, all that fun stuff. So it's okay as a personal level. It's okay to scorch your earth, to clean a TTRPG tale, to stop a story that's not going anywhere, to get rid of characters or ideas that just aren't serving any purpose because they're just weighing things down. Getting rid of group members that just are not fun to play with. You know, it is okay to do all those things if it is a benefit for the future for everyone else, right? Now we're not saying be mean and unkind. Make a conscious decision when you're doing these things, but at the end of the day, the no regrets is probably the right choice 99% of the time. You might go back and give you your what ifs about it, but 99% of the time, if you keep moving forward, you're gonna hit. That was a quote. Everything's gonna be okay. If it's not over, if it's not okay, it's not over. And if it is okay, you're okay. So with all that in mind, we're going to do our last minute thoughts and goodbyes to our two wonderful guests and do music, and then I will do my quick little book review before we give our codes and all that fun stuff. So, starting down with Lima. Lima, can you any last thoughts about Scorched Earth / who you are, what you do, where to find you?
I think this was just amazing, like with the scorched earth. Like it just reminded me of the importance of, just just not regretting life and just like making sure that I'm thankful every day for whatever that happens, and making good decisions and moving forward. That's so important. And I have peace in all of that. So I really love this subject. I love what everyone had to say. All of you are absolutely amazing. If you want to find me, I'm on Facebook, Lima Maclean. Go over there, follow me. I'm right there. DM me. I'm always around.
Fantastic. Robert, what about you?
Um, I like the topic actually because I have this whole program for midlifers where there are a lot of people who've done everything right and they feel empty inside because they haven't really followed their passion and purpose. And so what my tagline is, get that back in without scorching the earth. Honestly, I mean, it really is a tagline like that. But to your point, I think what I took away from tonight is we have to continuously look at what's serving us and what's not, and continuously get rid of the things that don't serve us. Just like clothing, right? If there's something in there that doesn't work or that's too ripped, you got to get rid of it. It's hard as a guy because I like my 23-year-old or 30-year-old shirt because I've had it for that long, not because it looks good. It looks like crap, but Oh,
Literally the
but
shirt right now.
yeah, again, it's continuously evaluating what's working and what's not working in your life and getting rid of those pieces that don't work. And that includes boundaries, right? If somebody's stepping over your boundaries, have a frank conversation. If it doesn't work, move on. And so that's what I took away. I think it was a great job. You did a great job on this.
Well, thanks. And where can people find you?
I don't know. Ah, no, like I said, the easiest way to find me is just you can just Google me, go to one of my websites, Robert Slayton, RobertSlayton.com, or the Passion Project, just RobertCSlayton.com. And you're going to be posting the link tree, which has my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok, and everything else. I've been playing with social media. I do a quote every day,
Nice.
which is a lot of fun. And yeah, you gotta try stuff, right? I just try. I throw stuff against the wall and that's what I do. And if you want to follow, go for it. If you troll me, I'm gonna follow your energy, right? I had a guy who said I hate you, and I said you do you, man. I support you 100%. My videos are bad. Stay tuned for more bad videos. That's what I said to him. Let's do it. Let's do this, right?
That's the best way to feed the trolls. Feed them poison. All right, so
Yeah.
for our stuff, Younger and Jared, I'm gonna let you guys talk before I talk, because I don't know how long my solo review is gonna be. But we'll start with Jared. Jared, final thoughts on tonight's fun little topic?
Well, last thoughts on a nice little topic. He's talk about removing which that does not serve you. This will be my last pop to reference for the night. I just think of the lady online who became a meme. I don't remember where she's on, but she's Asian. It's like, this does not spark joy. And you just,
yeah, that's
and
right.
just,
Yeah.
and just
Spark
yeet
joy.
it out of your life. So, but I guess the best thing, if I were just to talk on this topic to anyone who is like, like me, and or has similar issues like dealing with anxiety or similar obstacles in your life, the best advice I could try to do, and it's easier said than done, but it's the best path, I would argue, is like, don't think too long on what you could have done different or what you did wrong. Try to think about the next thing you're going to do right.
We're going to do another quote from Brandon Sanderson's work, Oathbringer. The third oath for the bondsmith ideals, something along the lines of, though I might fall down, give me the strength to keep stepping forward so I can do better and take the next step. That's not even close to quote, actually. I apologize. I'm butchered that. But the essence of the message, that's what it is. And that's a great way to push forward with that. Younger, what about you?
I think like with the whole Scorched Earth of like just getting rid of the things that aren't serving you, like that mentality. Like I've been doing a lot of that. You called out poor Roger's shirt over here. I just bought new shirts because like I've definitely been wearing the same cruddy t-shirt for the past decade, and it's like, so I should probably freshen up. If I want there to be a change in my life, I have to, make changes in my life. Right? Like I can't be doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So it's like, okay, do better. Pay more attention to this thing. Do this thing. Hey, I want this. Okay, well, I can't keep on doing what I'm doing because I don't have it. I never had it doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to have to do something else to get what I want.
I love that. That was awesome.
100%. I agree.
Well, fantastic. All right, quick review. Now, I'm just going to mention this is not sponsored nor paid for or anything like this. This book was written by one of my very good friends, one of the people that DM'd me a long time ago when I was in the Army. And this is their first book. If you guys can read it with the light reflecting off it. Sorry, it's the tome of Shadow Alliances. So it's all about clandestine groups and dealing with all of the nuance of in the shadow work, right? It's made by Axe and Mallet Gaming, which is their company that they started recently. This is their very first book. You can find all their stuff at sorry, I'm going to say it wrong. axeandmalletgaming.com. That's where all their stuff is. You can order the book online that way. I also get to shout it out because I'm in the back. They talk about me at the very end in the acknowledgement, so I'm in there. And there's a couple really cool things in here that I highly recommend. I'm not going to spoil them because I'm not going to ruin the book. I might do a longer review on it. But at the very end of the book, there is a very cool system that I've loved using for the last several years, and it's now official. So it'll come back in our games eventually. Wahahaha. But that neither there or not. Code for this month is still Stabby 907. All capital letters. What else we got? Monday, Wednesday, gaming this week. So we have Power Rangers and Younger's D&D silliness. This weekend, tomorrow, we will be at our local library doing a little event, doing games and beginner lessons and stuff like that. Me and Jared will be there causing havoc. Did I miss anything, you two?
Not unless there's an upcoming event that.
Not till the end of the month. We'll talk about that next week. Wahaha. All right. So, our wonderful star guests. Before we leave, we're going to do one more song, and I'm going to need you guys to both pick a number between 1 and 10. And they don't have to be the same number. They can be totally different.
I'll say 7.
3 and 7. Okay. That's really funny. You know that song I added right before the end of all of this? That was the right number. So I appreciate you both. Here we go.
Grab your dice, grab your drink. It's table night, let's roll. Stack of Cheetos, soda's gone flat. One guy's late, yeah, we all knew that. Jim smiling, cooking up pain. But we'll derail the plot like a runaway train. One don't care, we're still alive. Now 20, everybody high five. Roll it, feel the beat ignite. Critical vibes, we go all night. This is the table, this is the crew tonight. We rule, the world is new.
Oh, this is brutal.